Well, the 1 million March for Children protests that occurred September 20th across Canada, I was the host for Edmonton. And actually, TJ, I'm going to have to post a link at some point showing the aerial footage from that protest, because our crowd, I think it was between 2,000, 3,000 people. And so at that protest, it was very clear. One of our core messages was stop SOGI 123. Stop the sexual orientation, gender identity, education, indoctrination inside our schools. And there was a counter protest across the street right in front of the Alberta Teachers Association building. And so people there with their rainbows, etc., countering us, attempting to call us names. I think they use the word bigot, whatever. So they're calling us names. So we're just about healthy boundaries. Well, one of the things that was interesting about that protest was the amount of Muslims that showed up in Edmonton. A lot of Muslim mothers, you could tell by the way they were dressed, and they were shouting to the rainbow crowd across the street, "Leave our kids alone!" And there was just so much power in their united shouts, and I was just, wow, like, look at these mothers who I have never seen at an event. I've been protesting since February 2021. I've never seen them before, but they came out for that protest because they feel it right here. They want to protect their kids. And then we had another follow-up protest in Edmonton, October 20th. Not as big of a turnout there, but still very good. In that case, we were right in Pride Central of Edmonton. We were on White Avenue at Pride Corner. And that's where we have the protest. And a counter protest showed up, and they were across the street from us. Edmonton Police Services in both cases did a great job of keeping the protesters separated so that there weren't any altercations. And they were terrific. And I always try to communicate with law enforcement in advance of an event to let them know what I'm up to and what my plans are so that they can do what they need to do to keep everyone safe. So we have that event. So then obviously the UCP AGM occurred, and we had so many members of the current governing party of Alberta step up and say, we are for parental rights. And then Danielle Smith on January 31st said, we are for parental rights. She reiterated that February 1st when she was interviewed by various reporters, and they were trying to put her on the spot about how, I remember one of the questions was, well, if a teacher has to send a note home to parents every time they're going to present on this issue, and it's a sensitive issue, that's a big hassle for the teacher. And Danielle Smith responded to the reporter and said, if a teacher is teaching about sex and gender ideology on multiple occasions, and they have to send home multiple notes to the parents, then something's wrong there, right? So I'm paraphrasing. So the point is she's standing up for us. And by the way, James Lindsay's coming back to Alberta in June. I don't know if you knew that.
Awesome. Yeah, amazing. Yeah, I love his very knowledgeable, especially on this topic for sure. You mentioned that million March for Children. When that happened, it was September 20th, I believe, right? Last year, 2023. Yeah. And I'm only an hour and a bit from Grand Prairie, so I took my camera, went up to Grand Prairie and documented that one. Now, there's well over 500 people there for the Million March for Children, and then there was like 30 or 40 for the counter protest, which was the No Space for Hate protest. It's more than a 10-to-1 ratio, and that seemed to be consistent across the board. And I take that as an encouragement. The minority is a loud, vocal minority, but there's more of us than there are of them. And that just take that as an encouragement. Don't let the peanut gallery kind of shout you down from the back. Get out there in whatever way you can, whatever kind of action you want to take, and make your voice heard and stand up for what's right. Just do it.
Yeah. We are the majority, but it only counts if we use it.
We have a request here from Rock Girl. Please post the link if you can. So if you want to send that to me in the private chat, and I'll get her up there.
You betcha. Yeah, you need to see that aerial footage. Do you have any aerial footage from Grand Prairie?
No, I was just there taking stills with the camera. You can go to my website. I'll see if I can pull that up here. Let's just take a look. Let's just go there and we'll take a look right now. Give me a moment, guys. Photography, photojournalism, Millennium March for Children Grand Prix. Okay, here we go.
Oh, I gotta see this because I don't think I ever saw these. So please share.
Oh yeah, awesome. Okay, let me just get the share screen here. Where are we here? That one. Okay, boom. Can you see that?
Yep.
So these might be small in the lower window there, but here I wrote approximately 500 plus parents and children gathered to protest the sexualization of children in schools and society at large, while approximately 40 to 50 counter protesters gathered to wave their flags and gather support from passersby, which is, to sum it up, is basically what it was. So here up at the top, you have I don't know what to call them, the rainbow protesters, I guess. Not necessarily as creative as the Freedom Rally signs that we saw during the mandates, but a lot of signs nonetheless. And yeah, so many, like you said, here you can see a lot of Muslim, not a lot, there's been a few Muslim families up there. And in Grand Prairie, I don't know what the demographics are in terms of migrants, but or different faith groups. But we did have Muslims out there. We had Hutterites up there, Mennonites up there, a lot of just working moms and dads, and a lot of kids as well. And is there a good shot here of the crowd? Here you can kind of see, let me see if I can zoom this in. Hold on a sec. How do I move you over? All right. This picture right here, you can kind of see in the field there, it's beside the 30 kilometers an hour photo force. So that was probably half the crowd. I couldn't get it all in frame because they were moving too fast for me, but yeah, it was really a really good turnout.
Can you zoom in on that one actually?
Which one?
That one you were just talking about where you've got half the crowd.
I tried, but I can't see the scroll bar and how to get over to it because it goes out of frame. If anybody wants to hear, I'll just put the link up for anybody that wants to look at this themselves, and they can.
Okay, well, I'm sending you something through Facebook messaging. It's a link to the Rumble of Edmonton from September 20th last year. By the way, at that protest and the October 20th protest, I had two petitions going. One was a Trudeau Must Go petition, and the way I presented the petition was that Trudeau's one of the aggressive supporters of things like SOGI 123. So I said, we have to get rid of him. But I also had an Alberta legislature petition, Stop SOGI 123. We've got quite a few signatures on that. And so I presented that petition to the chief of staff of the Minister of Education in mid-November. So I had a meeting with him for close to an hour. And there were a couple of other representatives there as well. I couldn't meet with the Minister of Education himself. It didn't pan out that way, but at least I met with the Minister of Staff, Chief of Staff, right? And anyway, that went well. And I feel that contributed towards the momentum too, and toward Danielle Smith making the remarks she did on January 31st. So did you find my Rumble link there?
Does that look right? Does that look right there?
Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Can you just play a sample from it?
Sure. Okay.
I think you guys are going to love this because somebody brought a drone and they got aerial footage.
Oh, not found.
Oh,
not found. You know what? I'm just going to go to Facebook and click on the link. Hold on a sec there.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. We're doing a lot of running around here. Thanks for sticking with us.
Oh, and sometimes Rumble has an ad. It's such a pain.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Here we go. I'll let it play past the. Oh wow. Okay. Here. Let me just. It's
gonna look something like that.
Entire screen.
We were near the Space and Science Center because we deliberately chose the area across the street from the Alberta Teachers Association because they're one of the most aggressive pushers of SOGI 123.
Can you hear that?
Quietly, yeah. You can turn it up if you want. Yeah, there's our protest. So I had my petition stuff in those little blue tents right there. Our giant protest. We had so many people that we were spilling out into the street. We couldn't cram them all in our little green space. So that's us. So this is earlier in the day before we were at top numbers. That's my little Canada umbrella too.
There's the police there.
Police are there. They were trying to make us, stay in a certain area, and it worked to an extent. But what had happened is our crowd, in a sense, grew and spilled over, and we ended up taking up 3 corners of the intersection. And
Amazing.
The other protest was only on one corner of the intersection because their group was so small. And so what happened is the police did not want any altercation. So when the other group, some of them were ready to leave, the police would not let them leave because the police wouldn't let them cross the street to get to their cars because they didn't want the groups mixing. And so I just find that kind of so the groups across the street there's a giant progressive pride flag on the parkade next to Alberta Teachers Association. This truck here, I think, might have been the lead truck for our march because we did a march as well as a rally. And actually, Pastor Rodney Fortin from Church in the Vine got some really, really good footage of this march as well. Like, just
look at how far this goes.
Yeah.
Wow.
What an event. We were heard. The Alberta Teachers Association, so I had put a handout together talking about, hey, why should you be concerned about SOGI 123? Do you know what they're teaching you in school? And this 2,000 of these handouts were distributed at this event and then redistributed after. So some of those flyers made it over to some staff at the Alberta Teachers Association. And in the ATA newsletter the following week, they talked about my flyer. They didn't mention my name. I wrote the flyer. That's fine. They didn't mention my name, but they mentioned the flyer, and they attempted to present the information we were distributing as misinformation, but they didn't do a good job of it. So I look at that protest and I go, what a success, because not only were we noticed by the public driving by, we were noticed by staff of the ATA, like this. That was a successful event, and it was peaceful. I mean, maybe a couple people argued with each other at some point, but big deal. Yeah, it's a peaceful event.
Communists can't fight anyway. Communists can't fight anyway.